Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of Chemistrycopedia. Today I will be doing a tutorial on acid and base nomenclature. So nomenclature is just a fancy word for how we name things. So we're going to look at two different things. We're going to look first at how do we name acids and bases. Then we're going to look at how do we take the name and use it to write the formula for acids and bases. Okay, so we're going to start with naming compounds. So we have acids and we have bases. Before we can begin to name them, we need to identify, is it an acid or is it a base? It's relatively straightforward. Acids start with an H, bases, so it's going to be H and then some anion, and then bases end with OH. So we have some cation and then an OH at the end. So if there's an H at the beginning, it's an acid. If it's an OH at the end, it's a base. If it's neither of those, then it's just an ionic compound. All right, so under acids, we have two different types. We have oxyacids and we have elemental acids. So oxyacids contain oxygen. If we have an acid that contains oxygen, that means that it is hydrogen along with a polyatomic ion. So we ignore the hydrogen part and we just look at the polyatomic ion. We go to the back of our formula sheet, we find the polyatomic. If the ending is ATE, then I remove the ATE and I replace it with IC and then the word acid. If the ending is ITE, then I remove that, I replace it with OUS and the word acid. So if we have an oxyacid, we have two possibilities. We can have something ic acid or something us acid. The way that we know which is by looking at the ending of our polyatomic. If our acid does not have oxygen, then that means that it is made of an element, and we do not look at the back of the periodic table. We look at the front of the periodic table. So that just means it's H and whatever element version that we have. So if we have the element version of our acid, we're going to add the word hydro to the beginning. So our hydro is going to indicate that it is not an oxyacid. So anything that does not have an oxygen with it is going to get a hydro in the front. And the ending is going to be IC acid. So the polyatomic ATE is IC acid and the elemental acid is IC acid, but the difference is that the elemental acid is going to have a hydro before the name of the element. Okay, then we have bases. Bases are super duper easy. You find the name of the first element that is attached to the OH, and then the OH is just hydroxide. Easy peasy. So let's look at some examples here. Let's start with HCl. So the first thing I need to do is identify if it's an acid or a base. Does it start with H? It does. That means it's an acid. Hooray and huzzah. So this is an acid. And for acids, I just ignore the H part and instead just look at what's attached to the H. So what's attached to the H is a Cl. There's no oxygen, so it is not an oxyacid, and I automatically know that it's going to start with hydro because there is no oxygen. Even before I identify the element, even before I figure out what else to do, if there's no oxygen, I'm just going to throw a hydro in front of whatever I get. Then let's look at what we have here. We have Cl, which is chlorine. So I'm going to change my INE to an IC. So this is going to become hydrochloric, and then all acids get tacked on with the word acid at the end. Huzzah! All right. Let's look at our next example here, NaOH. This does not start with H, which means that it has to end with OH. All right, so this means that this is going to be a base, and if it's a base, I just take the names of both things. So I have Na, which is going to be sodium, and I have OH, which is hydroxide. All right. Technically, these are ions, and so they have charge, but we're not really concerned with charge at the moment. We'll be more concerned with it when we start writing formulas. But for now, we're just going to say this is sodium hydroxide. All right, next up, does this start with H? It does not. It ends with OH. This time the OH is in parentheses. That means absolutely nothing in terms of naming. I still just look at the name of the first element and then add hydroxide. The fact that I have two here is just a crossing charges thing, which we don't need to worry about at the moment. All right, so this is a base, and Mg is magnesium, and OH is hydroxide, So the name of my base here is magnesium oxide. Yippee skippy. All right, next up we have H3PO3. Does it start with H? It does in fact start with H. The fact that there are three H's makes zero difference here. We are only looking at whether or not it starts with an H. We ignore the three because that's just, again, canceling crossing charges. We're only looking at what is attached to the H. So attached to my H is a PO3. So the first thing we notice is that there is an O here. So because there is an O, that tells me two things. The first thing is that I am not going to put hydro in front of the name of my acid. And the second thing is it tells me that this is a polyatomic ion and I'm going to need to find the name of my polyatomic ion on the back of my periodic table on my formula sheet. So if I go to my formula sheet, I see that PO3, it's actually got a 3- charge, which we're not super duper concerned with at the moment, but is there. So I see that PO3 3- is called phosphite. All right, so now that I have a name, I'm going to adjust the ending. So ITE becomes OUS. So this is going to become phos, and it should be phosphorus acid, but in reality, it's actually phosphorus acid. If you put on your homework or a test or a quiz, if you put phosphorus acid, I'm not going to mark it wrong, but just for our intents and purposes, we should know that it's phosphorus acid, not phosphorus acid. Okay, next up, if we look at this, does this start with H? In fact, it does start with H, so that is an acid. And then attached to my H is an F. Now, this F does not have an O with it, which means that I'm going to need hydro before the name of my acid. F is going to be on the front of my periodic table, so F is fluorine. So I'm going to change my ending of fluorine to fluoric, and this is going to be hydrofluoric acid. Hydrofluoric acid. We put the hydro there because there is no oxygen in my acid. All right, last one of these examples, we have AgOH. It does not start with H, which means it ends with OH. So I'm going to just have a base, and I'm going to write the name of each of my species. So the first part is going to be silver, and the second part is always hydroxide. Bases are way easier to name because it's really just the same rules as using ionic compounds, except that our anion is always hydroxide, so it always ends with hydroxide. All right, so that is how we name compounds. So now let's talk about writing formulas. So when we write formulas, we need to figure out if we're dealing with an acid or a base. So if we're dealing with an acid, then it's going to have the word acid at the end. And if we're dealing with a base, it's going to have the word hydroxide at the end. Or if it doesn't end in the word acid, then it has to be a base because currently we're just looking at acids and bases. So when we write formulas, acids and bases are treated as ionic compounds because they break apart into ions when we put them into solution. So this means that we need to use the rules of ionic compounds to write the formulas of our acids and bases. So acids are always going to start with an H+. So hydrogen is in group 1, so it has a 1+ charge. We can write hydrogen as H+1, or more commonly, it's just written as H+, which means the same exact thing. So we start with H+ no matter what type of acid we're dealing with. We need to figure out, is this an elemental acid or is it an oxyacid? And that's going to come from the beginning of my acid. If it starts with hydro, it's an element. If it doesn't start with hydro, it's an oxyacid. So if it starts with hydro, then it's going to be H+1, and then the other part is going to be the element of whatever it is that you see. So if it's hydrochloric acid, then hydro is my prefix and chloric came from chlorine. If it's hydrobromic acid, then hydro tells me it's an element and the rest of it is going to be bromic, which comes from bromine, so I would just use bromine. So you have to kind of piece together where it came from. If there is no hydro, it's an oxyacid, and I flip to the back of my periodic table, and I reverse what I did when I named the compound. When I named them, if it ended in ATE, I changed it to IC. So that means that if the name of your formula ends in IC acid with no hydro, then I'm going to look at the ATE form of my polyatomic ion. If my acid ends with OUS, then I'm going to look at the ITE version of my polyatomic ion. So I'm still going to have H plus. The second part of that is going to be the polyatomic ion, and so I'm going to cancel or cross charges. With bases, is the same thing. I'm canceling or crossing charges. The name will be the name of the first element and then hydroxide. So I just need to go to the periodic table and figure out what is the charge of that element. And then the hydroxide is always going to be a negative. So sometimes it's written as OH -1, or we can just write it as OH negative. Either one of those is fine. Okay, so let's start here with hydroiodic acid. So this is an acid, and I know this for several reasons. The first and easiest of which is the fact that it ends in the word acid. If it's an acid, acids start with H. All right, so I'm going to start with H plus. The second part of my compound depends on what type of acid I have. So if I look here, it says hydro at the front. So hydro means that I'm dealing with the element. So if I look at the second part of this, this says iodic, which is going to be iodine. So I'm going to use the element version of iodine, which is going to be I-1 or just I-. So now I have the two parts of my acid. I have H plus 1, I minus 1. I'm going to cancel or cross charges. These cancel. So my formula here is going to be HI. Hi. Hello. Okay. Next, we have potassium hydroxide. This is going to be a not acid because it doesn't have the word acid at the end, which means that it has to be a base. So for bases, it's always two parts. So the first part is potassium. So potassium is K and it's in group 1, so it's going to be a 1 plus. Hydroxide is always the same, O1 minus. So I'm going to look at my charges here. Those cancel. So my base is KOH. As a refresher, we need to remember that when we are writing our formulas, that make sure that we write them correctly. This is not anything. There is no element that's KOH like that. There is also no element that's OH like that. It has to be written as all capitals because it's 3 different elements. All right, number 9 here is carbonic acid. So it's an acid. Hooray. All right, so if we look here, this does not start with hydro. So no hydro means polyatomic. All right, and my compound is always going to start with H plus 1, so I just need to figure out what is the second part of my compound here. So if I look at the ending here, I have carbonic. So this ends in IC, so I'm looking for the ATE version of my compound. So IC came from ATE, so this is going to be carbonate. So I'm going to go to my formula sheet and I'm going to find the carbonate ion, and that's going to tell me that it is CO3 2 minus. So this time my charges don't cancel, so I'm going to cross these. 1 goes here, 2 goes here, so I have H2 CO3. If we remember from when we did formulas the first time, if there's a 1, you don't have to write that 1 there, but if you do, you have to put the CO3 in parentheses altogether. All right. Let's look at another one, nitrous acid. So here again, acid. So acids are always going to start with H plus 1. And then if I look here, I do not have a hydro. So that means that it is a polyatomic. And my ending here is OUS, and that came from the ITE version. So this is going to be nitrite. So if we go to our periodic table, nitrite is going to be NO2 minus 1, and bam, bam, cancel, cancel. With acids and bases, you'll find that more often than not, your charges are going to cancel, so it's actually a little bit easier than just doing straight ionic compounds. Every now and then, like in the last problem, you do have to cross something, but you never have to cross two things because the H is always a +1 and the OH is always a -1, so something's always going to end up with a 1. Perchloric acid. So here we have another acid. Acids always start with H. And it does not start with hydro either. It has a weird like per in front of the chloric, but that's just part of its name. If it's not starting with hydro, then it really doesn't matter what else is in front there. So we're just going to go about our merry rules of how to use our polyatomics here. So IC came from ATE. So this is perchlorate. So if you look at your periodic table, you will see that perchlorate is ClO4 minus. Charges cancel, and I have HClO4. All right, last up, we have strontium hydroxide. So there's no acid on the end, so this has got to be a base. All right, so I'm going to look at both parts here. So strontium is Sr. It's in group 2, so it has a 2+ charge. And then hydroxide always has a -1 charge. So here we're going to cross these because they do not cancel. And I get Sr1. And then because I have two OHs, I have to put the OH in parentheses and put that 2 on the outside. I can also just write this as SrOH2 with the 2 outside on the parentheses. What I cannot do is write it like this. That is incorrect. This is good, this is good, this is bad. This is actually my preferred way of writing it, so that's the one I'm going to circle. Spectacular. Okie dokie. So that is acid-base nomenclatures, how to name acids and bases, how to write formulas for acids and bases. And remember, it's all about that base. This has been another episode of Chemistry with Wikipedia Tutorial Edition. I hope you learned something, and until next time, keep on chemin'.